the evidence leaders here at M46, our support staff with us, members of the media, and as well as the members of the public at YouTube and 408. Welcome to the next inquiry on this day, the 21st of February, 2023. We're starting a new witness today, which will be introduced later by Ms. Ibrahim. Just to indicate that we're starting at this time, we'll start now at 2 up until 5. I got an indication that the witness would not be able to proceed beyond 5, and I will honor that. So, as things would be, we're going to have the evidence leader starting between now and 5, and then we pause at 5, continue tomorrow. Tomorrow it's half a day from 10 to 1, and then we have all of Thursday and all of Friday, depending on how we So, with that, it's a warm welcome to all of you. I just need to get an indication from Mr. Ngoma and Ms. Mori if we have the witness with us online. Do we have the witness online? Okay. I'm going to invite Ms. Ibrahim to do the preliminaries with the witness, who will be introduced and would introduce himself, and then after that we'll start. Ms. Ibrahim?
Thank you very much, Chair. Chair, the witness for this afternoon is Mr. Rodney Mataboge, who the committee will recall was a witness that the committee asked us to invite to appear before it. Mr. Mataboge, can you hear me? Mr. Mataboge, your sound is muted.
Good afternoon, Chairperson. Good afternoon, Fatima. And sorry about the struggle with my connection.
Good afternoon. Mr. Mataboge, can I ask you to switch your camera on, please?
Yes, let me do that. I hope it's on now.
Thank you. We can see you now. I'm going to administer your oath. Sir, you have been invited, subject to the provisions of Section 16 of the Powers, Privileges and Immunities of Parliament and Provincial Legislatures Act of 2004, to appear before this committee as a witness and to answer questions in respect of the committee's inquiry into the removal of the Public Protector, Advocate Mqwebane. Please be informed that by law you are required to answer fully and satisfactorily all questions lawfully put to you, or to produce any document that you are required to produce in connection with the subject matter of the inquiry, notwithstanding the fact that the answer or the document could incriminate you or expose you to criminal or civil proceedings or damages. You are, however, protected in that evidence given under oath or affirmation before a House or committee may not be used against you in any court or place outside of Parliament, except in criminal proceedings concerning a charge of perjury or a charge relating to the evidence or documents required in these proceedings. Please be aware further that in terms of Section 17(2) of the Powers Act, a person who willfully furnishes a House or committee with information or makes a statement before it which is false or misleading commits an offence and is liable to a fine or to imprisonment for a period not exceeding 2 years. Mr. Mataboge, you will now be required to either take an oath or to affirm that the evidence you are about to give is truthful. You may choose either the oath or affirmation. What is your preference?
I'll take the oath, Mr. Fatima.
Thank you. May I ask that you please raise your right hand and repeat after me? I swear that the evidence I shall give
I swear that the evidence I shall give
shall be the truth,
shall be the truth,
the whole truth,
the whole truth,
and nothing but the truth.
and nothing but the truth.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Thank you, sir. Chair, the witness is now duly sworn in.
Thank you, Ms. Ibrahim. Again, welcome, Mr. Mataboge, to this Section 194 inquiry. I'm now going to invite Advocate Bauer to interact with you.
Good afternoon, Mr. Mataboge.
Good afternoon, Advocate Bauer.
Mr. Mataboge, it was relayed to me that before you answered questions that I would put to you, you would wish to say something to the committee. Is that still what you would like to do?
Yes, it is still correct, Advocate Bauer.
Made this request to do that.
Thank you, Advocate Bauer. Mr. Mataboge, you can go ahead and present what you want to present before Ms. Bauer starts.
And honorable members, as well as the public protector and her legal team, I just wanted to share us on Ms. Ibrahim to make some opening remarks as a witness. First and foremost, I said to her that I wouldn't want to appear here as a witness for either side, for reason that I advanced to her to say, due to the fact that when one appears either on the side of the evidence leaders or on the side of the PP's team, there appears to be a perception that one is a witness for either side. And sometimes it comes with some adversarial attitude from either side when one is questioned. So I even ask that I not make a statement, but come and appear here and answer questions that will be put by either side, which I'll answer to the best of my ability without having made a statement. And further to that, I wanted to also impress upon the chair and the House that as an investigator, I said, which I expressed to even the evidence leaders and Ms. Ibrahim, that as an investigator, I feel very much vulnerable to come and appear here before the committee on the matters that I know that I investigated, because we have got a problem of whistleblowing, and that needs whistleblower that need protection in our society. But having to appear here as an investigator, and it's contrary in a way to Section 68 of the PP Act, which says I may be competent but not compellable to appear here. But I wanted to put this across to the chair in the House to say, am I being exposed now to the outside world? Especially because now, if really I have to assist the House, there'll be matters that I'll have to bring forth, which may even indicate my previous investigations under the former PPS as well, because I've been an investigator for a very long time. So I was just, would it be possible for me to talk behind, not with the camera on, so that I can be able to answer questions? Because if I'm going to be, appearing here for the whole week, I mean, my face will be shown to everyone for the whole week. And, it's interesting that even colleagues that I met several years ago already calling me to say, we'll be watching you on TV for the next few days or so. So this is my worry, but it doesn't mean I disrespect the process, nor do I disrespect what needs to be achieved. But I just wanted to raise this to say, are we not opening up ourselves as investigators in particular that deal with work that needs to work for the public of South Africa? Now we come and talk about that work and expose ourselves. As much as I need to assist, wouldn't I have been able to assist better when I would have been made to make written responses to questions that have been put to me, as against appearing here and being questioned and even being put to the public out there. I just wanted to put this, not with any disrespect to the House Chair, but I wanted to put this forward to say, am I not now being part of the precedent that may be there now in the future for us as investigators, be it even in SIU or other institutions, to come and appear and be exposed like this? Because when we started this work, I once said to a colleague, We didn't start this work to become famous. One colleague of mine once said, if she wanted to be famous, she would have been a journalist. We investigate as foot soldiers, we investigate in the background. We don't want to appear and appear to be the ones that run the gauntlet, if you want me to use the word gauntlet. So I just wanted to put this across, but with all due respect, Chairperson, if I'm here to help and I can help as much as possible, but it would mean that I'll also have to reflect on previous investigations, long old investigations that I was involved in the era of the former PP as well. So that's all I wanted to say, but I'm here, Chairperson. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Mataboge, for those important points you have placed in front of this committee in sharing what would have been your concern and for the committee to know. So we really appreciate that you putting that forward and still be in a position to come and be of value to the committee and assist the committee. The committee is a committee set up in terms of Section 194 and in terms of the rules of the National Assembly. Its mandate is focused on the motion that we're dealing with, and we try very hard to confine ourselves to those. We do not attend to any live cases or current issues, and so from our side, we do want to say we endeavor to protect all witnesses in this regard. I don't think you should feel too concerned about the fact that as an investigator you are now going to be known. It's actually even better that you do this in this way, because even if we're to do it under camera after a rigorous and strict process, the possibility is that some of that would be on social media, and at that point you might not be in control of it. So I think the platform that you are in is a platform of parliament, and it has got its own measures and processes. So let's welcome you. Thank you for those opening comments you've made, and for placing what would have occupied you before, which you would have raised, and still proceeded to come and assist the committee. I want on behalf of the committee to thank you for that. And at this point, I'm going to invite Advocate Bauer.
Mr. Mataboge, so that we're not, so we can just be clear about it. You did raise this with Ms. Ibrahim, and she indicated to you that if you had concerns, you needed to put those in writing to be able to put it before the committee to make a decision, correct?
Advocate Bauer?
And you didn't do so, you instead opted to address the committee today.
That is correct.
Okay. I just wanted to be sure so that there's no misunderstanding that Ms. Ibrahim did advise you accordingly. That's why I'm raising it, Mr. Mataboge. Can you maybe give us a little bit, because you haven't provided us with a statement, could you tell the committee about your, when you started working at the Public Protector's Office, your qualifications and your employment history a little bit?
Thank you, Advocate Bauer. My employment history dates as far back as 1985. I'm a law graduate. I graduated in the University of Northwest in the 1980s, late 80s. And I started working in the then former Homeland Ombudsman up until when in 1994, I think 95, we incorporated into the Ombudsman that was then Advocate General in the South African offices in Fisaki. I was a senior investigator from that period up until when in 2018 I became the chief investigator. but I've been through the public protector space or institution throughout all the former PPs, including Advocate Bawa, Advocate Mshwana, Advocate Madonsela, and currently Advocate Mkwebane. So I come from that era of both investigators in this institution, chairperson and the committee and Advocate Bawa. Thank you.
Can I start off by saying, Mr. Mataboge, that you are not the subject matter of any investigation. And although there may be a perception of there's a PP's legal team and an evidence leaders team, I'm not out to solicit anything other than the truth from you in the questions that we're going to be posing to you today.
Yes, I hear that, Bawa.
Right. Now, you said that you were appointed as a chief investigator, and that was somewhere in the middle of 2018. Would that be correct?
That is correct, Bawa.
And you were based in what is known as the Good Governance and Integrity Unit at the head office of the Public Protector.
Yes, correct.
Right. And we had previously consulted with you, I think it was roughly the 30th of June last year, via Zoom consultation, correct?
Yes.
And you had requested that Mr. van der Merwe be present at that consultation, correct?
Yes, I remember, yes.
And he was so at your request present at the consultation?
Yes, he was present, yes.
We didn't subsequently to consult with you again, correct?
No, we didn't consult again, that's subsequent, yes.
We then sought certain information. In fact, subsequent to that consultation, you were going to go and check for certain documents and information to provide to us. Do you recall that?
Correct, yeah. Correct, I recall.
And I think it was a couple of weeks after that, I'm not sure of the exact date right now, we then submitted a written request to the Public Protector's Office. Was that provided to you?
What written request of
For information and documentation that arose from the consultation we had with you.
Yes, I remember the CEO at the PPSA asked for some document that we needed to send through to you. Yes, it's like that.
Were you involved in the compilation of the responses and the provision of documents that was provided to us?
Yes, I was involved, even though Ms. Mbiana and the team were the ones who were compiling and sending them across to the CEO's office.
Okay, so let's just talk about Ms. Mbuyana and the team. Can we just understand the hierarchy in your division? You're the chief investigator. Who answers to you?
It's senior investigators as well as investigators and trainee investigators.
Okay, so how many people are there in your unit that responds to you?
There are 9, I think, if I'm correct. Yeah, there are 9.
And one of them is Miss, well, she used to be, but she's now moved to Bloemfontein, I understand. One of them used to be Miss Mbuyana, correct?
That is correct.
She doesn't answer to you any longer.
She doesn't answer any question from my yes.
Right. You then in turn report to a, in the ordinary course, you would report to an executive manager.
Correct, Margaret Bauer.
And if there is a COO in office, the EMs would then report to the COO, who would in turn report to the public protector.
That is correct.
Right. And it would be fair to say that you are a very experienced chief, although you may only be chief investigator since 2018, it would be fair to say, would you agree that you're quite an experienced investigator? Would you accept that?
Yes, yes, I can accept it.
And there have been certain specific and special investigations that the public protector has specifically designated to you. Would you agree with that?
Yes, I agree with that, but it didn't start now. Even then, even the previous era, that happened as well.
Yes. So let me say, I don't have knowledge of what happened during the previous public protector, and I'm looking at what is in the scope of the motion before this committee. So if you wish to add anything from what had happened previously, please do so. I just don't have the knowledge, and we haven't consulted at length about those things. So if I only ask you about the current PPSA, it's for that reason. In the investigations that had been designated specifically to you, that would be the investigation in respect of the relating to the alleged breach of the Executive Ethics Code by Minister Gordhan and what we shall refer to as the SARS unit. That would be one of those investigations, correct?
That is correct, Rebecca.
Fine. The second one of those investigations would be the one relating to Mr. Ivan Pillay and the pension that had been afforded to him by SARS.
That is correct.
The third one that I'm referring to would be what's known as the Bosasa or the CR17 investigation.
That is correct.
Right. The fourth one that I'd refer to would be the second Vrede report.
That is correct, yes,
Right.
sir.
Now, Mr. Mataboge, as I have it, and correct me if I'm wrong, you were not involved in the first Vrede report that had been reviewed and set aside by the court and which forms part of the motion before us, but you were the chief investigator in relation to the second Vrede report.
That is correct, Rebecca.
Right. Now, if I just, to start off so that we get this clear, Shepo, could I just ask you to put the motion on the screen? And apart from your experience as a chief investigator, I seem to recall that you told us that you had top secret clearance and you thought that that was one of the reasons why you had been given these investigations. Do you recall that?
I recall that, Rebecca, yes.
Okay.
Just a pause before you proceed. Mr. Mataboge, just to ask you to reposition yourself a bit so that we don't want to think that you are sinking where you are, so that we can see your shoulders at least. Yeah, now we see you. Thank you very much.
Is the chair I'm sitting in? Is the chair I'm sitting in, Chair?
Thank you. Now, go ahead, Advocate Bauer. Just try and lift it up again so that we can at least see from the shoulders.
The chair.
Yeah, it's so just like this chairperson who is speaking.
That's why it goes, Chair. That's why it ends.
Okay,
trying to-
so we'll see what we
go
can
to
do
the front.
next. Okay, we'll see what we can do. Advocate Bauer?
All right. Mr. Mataboge, just tell us that you are able to see the screen that comes up. I just want to be sure about that.
Yes, I can see that.
Right.
Good, Bauer.
So you would be aware that there's a motion before this committee of Parliament. Have you had an opportunity to study the motion?
No, I didn't have the chance, good, Bauer.
Right.
I haven't studied it.
Okay, so let me take you through it in some detail. Well, generally, the charge one relates to the South African Reserve Bank case, which is commonly referred to as the CX and the ABSA matter. Did you have any involvement in any capacity in that investigation?
No, not at all, good, Bauer.
And you can answer whether this relates to the current PP or the previous PP. Would the answer still be the same?
I wouldn't know when did this one start, for me to tell if it started and when did we start with Enquiry and it started before. I wouldn't know that.
Okay, so let's go to charge 2. sorry, you're just going to have to scroll down. Charge 2 relates to the Vrede dairy matter. And I already put the question to you that you were not involved in respect of the compilation of the first report. All right?
Yes, that is correct. I was not involved.
Were you involved in the litigation which ensued consequent to the first report at all?
Not at all, Advocate Power.
So your involvement started, can you remember when it started?
My involvement started when there was a request by Parliament for reinvestigation of the role of the politicians in the Vrede Dairy project. And then the matter was then given to my team to investigate afresh on the basis of the involvement of the politicians.
Right. So let's go down. The second charge relates to misconduct. The third charge emanates in respect to incompetence arising from the first and second charge. So if you haven't been involved in either the ABSA or the Vrede dairy matter, you wouldn't have knowledge of any incompetence arising from those matters either, would you?
I wouldn't, Advocate Power.
Okay. I'm going to come back when I talk to you about the second Vrede dairy, about the first Vrede dairy a bit, but we'll deal with that later. Okay, so let's go up to charge 4. Right. Mr. Mataboge, the charge 4 is a question of, let me read it to you. The Advocate Mkabani is guilty of misconduct in that Advocate Mkabani has intimidated, harassed, and victimized staff. So let me stop there. Have you ever been intimidated, harassed, or victimized by Advocate Mkabani?
No, I've not been victimized, Advocate Power, at all.
Can we maybe just answer the question? I put you 3 propositions, just so that the record has it complete. So the first proposition is, have you ever been intimidated?
No, I've not been intimidated, harassed, or victimized by Advocate during my work.
So on the second component of the charge, it relates to, alternatively, she has failed to protect staff in the Office of the Public Protector from intimidation, harassment, and or victimization by the erstwhile CEO of the Office of the Public Protector, Mr. Vusi Mahlangu. Have you in any way been intimidated, harassed, or victimized by the erstwhile CEO of the Office of the Public Protector?
No, Advocate Power, I've not been intimidated, nor harassed, or victimized by the erstwhile CEO of the PP, Mr. Vusi Mahlangu.
If I take this a step further, do you have personal knowledge of any intimidation and harassment and or victimization of any other person